Hi, you guys. Back again. And you guys, please forgive me. Look, I'm gaining weight, y'all. I'm in this hotel eating. Um, Back again. Um, Sorry about the lighting. I tend to do this in the evening. I think it would be probably more optimal if I did it during the day. I appreciate you guys who've been watching the videos, who have tolerated the challenges in production. But this is part 12. I married a white guy, and 3 racist judges are trying to annihilate me. Today is March 24th, 2021, and I am detailing my story of racial injustice, and I need to make a correction. I said they violated the 18th Amendment. It's the 14th Amendment. And so again, and I this is very challenging, and I'm so embarrassed that throughout these videos I am apologizing. I don't want to make this difficult for anyone, but I appreciate you viewing these videos, and you are being patient with me. So again, this is number 12, part 12 of I Married a White Guy and 3 Racist Judges Are Trying to Annihilate Me. I am detailing my story of racial injustice, egregious and heinous injustice by 3 racist judges. The first one is Judge Sarah Heidel. This is Judge Sarah Heidel, and initially it started off in the Pomona court. I learned that Judge Heidel has moved to the Pasadena court system. If you are in Pasadena, you'll need to make people aware of the family court of her. If anyone ever gets this woman, you need to do a 170 immediately to have her removed from your case. I think it's called a preemptive challenge. You can have her removed. You can have any judge removed in the first 60 days, I believe. I forgot what it's called, but I wasn't successful in doing that because I didn't know this lady was a racist judge. Okay, you know what? I should have known the first time I went before her, but I didn't. Anyway, this is part 12, and okay, so this is part 12 of I Married a White Guy and 3 Racist Judges Are Trying to Annihilate Me. And the purpose of this video series is to share my story about 3 racist judges that egregiously violated me. And the goal is to shine a light on them to prevent them from harming any other minority. Moving forward, I'm going to eventually talk about this probably on Sandy Speaks. What I want to know, and I'm going to handle this in a different series, is how many black children, what is the percentage of black children in depressed areas that are primarily African American, that are maybe not the wealthiest areas? What is the percentage of juveniles, young adults, adolescents go through the family court? Because again, this has been so hard for me. They've done so many horrific things to me, and they continue to violate me. They are, to be quite honest with you guys, I'm afraid for my life. I want to jump around. I'm going to get to that part, but I'm afraid for my life because you know that they had shed brick in my house. And I want to stay focused and stay along the timeline. So Judge Sarah Heidel, who was previously in the Pomona area, is now in Pasadena. I learned she's in Pasadena. And she originally lived in Pasadena. That's how I think she met my husband, my ex-husband, or the guy I was married to, because he worked in the Pasadena area for the past 24 years. So he has ties to the family court. And just based on what has transpired, I think he knew her. He probably met her and his... God, did I tell you I think his lawyer had a baby by him? This is like some real drama stuff. Let me stay focused. I think he met his lawyer at a conference, and he would go to a lot of conferences. And different state and city meetings. Somehow I believe he met this judge, because he told me in one of our encounters that he knew her. And you guys probably, if you watched all the videos, you're taking your time and you are engaged with me and you watching these videos, you know that story. Anyway, this is Judge Sarah Heidel, who's now in Pasadena court. So if you know people in Pasadena, please share this video, because you need to do a preempted challenge immediately. It's called the California Family Code 170.6. Have her removed immediately, especially if it's a woman. I found out that she was in Pasadena through someone, and they agreed that she not only is a racist, she's really biased against women. She's one of them girls. She probably don't get along well with her mother. Probably is what's wrong with her. She doesn't like women. And black women probably even worse. So then her boss, his name is Judge Lawrence Riff. This is the assistant head judge of the Los Angeles Family Court. He has ties to, I never remember this man's name, Harvey Weinstein. If you go to the robing room and search for this judge, I call him Grand Dragon Lawrence Riff. I'll put the robing room link below. I've told you this guys before. The robing room is no longer taking comments about this guy because he has so many complaints that they couldn't, until they expanded the space, or whatever, however you call the capacity of the website. That's how they said it. That they wasn't taking it. They would not be taking any more comments of this judge. Then Judge Bruce Iwasaki. This always just makes me sick to the stomach and make me feel bad, because this is a Japanese judge. And you guys, Japanese people are honorable people. Like, that's part of their culture. Like, so really. And this Judge Bruce Iwasaki, he hurt me the most. He did all kind of things that were horrific. And I am going to call him on the carpet about it. He did some horrific things. So ultimately, you guys, I'm going to file a lawsuit against the Los Angeles Family Court for what they did to me. Right now, I'm still fighting. I'm still having a divorce battle. And I want to say to you, Bruce Iwasaki, the guy I was married to, he didn't like Asian people. He was racist towards Asian people. I'm going to tell you, because I told y'all the story. I'm trying to keep this as authentic as possible, because I want it to be credible. The truth don't change. So the more details I tell you, if I'm lying, the more faster you can catch me in a lie. When people lie, they can't give you details, because the truth don't change. And when you lie, the details are not going to match up if it's a lie. So, yeah, the guy I was married to was a racist against Asians. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm saying that, because it is March the 24th, and this is when they've been violating Asian people. I don't even want to talk about it, but this is just recently in the past week is when they murdered those poor women in Atlanta, and they murdered 8 people, 6 of which were Asian women. I want to say this to you, Bruce Iwasaki. When I met this guy, he would, and you know, he's a people person, the guy I was married to. It's not often that he will show disdain in his face about people. I learned to find out that he was a sociopath. I think it's covert sociopath. So I learned that like in the past 5 years. But he's charismatic. He's not the kind of person who will screw his face up about certain things, you know. But he talked illy about Asian people. That's one of the things that I remember, because the thing that I remember the most, he referred to Asian people as Oriental. And that makes me sick when I say that, when I hear that. And so when he said it, because he's from the South, I said to him, oh, don't say that. I said, don't say that. I said, rugs are Oriental. A vase is Oriental. People are not Oriental. He referred to Asian people as Oriental, y'all. And I don't know if y'all know. Some people may not know. That's disgusting. Okay? That's like the N-word. Or even maybe if it get worse, if there's a way to get worse than the N-word, it might be even worse than that. I don't know. It's just really, it's like the N-word is degrading. And so what happened, growing up, he had Asian neighbors, and I don't know if they were Korean or Chinese. I don't think I even remember us discussing that. And to be quite honest with you, he probably didn't know the difference, but they were mean to him, and he attributed to them being Asian. And it's kind of upsetting. But I'm saying this to you because this Japanese judge is the one who stole my house. They stole my house and all kind of stuff, y'all. I'm homeless in a hotel. Okay, I've been homeless for 6 months. The guy I was married to made $180,000. I live in $1 million home, and because I'm black, this happened to me. And I want Judge Iwasaki to know this guy I married was a racist to Asian people for real. Because why I want to make that important, because the Asian judge is the one who screwed me the most. But this guy really didn't like Asian people. And that was one of the things he said. And like I said, he talked nasty about the neighbors. And when I remember him first telling me, this was my husband I loved. He was my best friend. We were cool. So this is my experience when I was talking to him. Because when he would do stuff, I'm like, don't do that. You know how when you in a relationship with a guy do something like, you don't do that. I remember him face being nasty. And he said his neighbors were mean to him. They would do stuff. But then I go back and I think growing up, we had Sicilian neighbors who didn't speak English. They was the cutest little short little Sicilian people. I grew up in New York, and our ball would go over to their we would in their yard. People have problems with their neighbors growing up. Kids do things, and this is white supremacy. This is white privilege. This is why this man I'm married to, who grew up in a racist home, he viewed it as these people, his neighbors, being Asian, and why he didn't like Asian people, because he had neighbors he had problems with. But see, it tells you about white supremacy and white privilege. And I don't want to make excuses for white people, but I'm very tolerant and I'm very understanding. And I listen and I try to understand where they're coming from. Okay? But in hindsight, this is all white privilege. Because again, like when he told me this, I remember there were cute little Sicilian neighbors, and I grew up in New York City. And where I grew up, it was now they're West Indians, but when I grew up, it was mostly Italians and Sicilians. I lived uptown in New York City, okay, and they had tea. I think they had tea. Growing was not tea or whatever, but I remember my neighbor. We get in trouble with the neighbors, and they didn't speak English. They used to yell at us. Okay, so and I don't have a problem with Sicilian people. Okay, if you listen to what I'm saying, I remember them being two. It was a husband and wife, and they were short, and they used to cuss us out in Italian because we were kids. Okay, and so same thing happened with this guy I was married to. He had an impression about Asian people because he had Asian neighbors that he said, I don't know what he said about them. He said they did something, but I also am going to attribute it to neighbors being neighbors. So Judge Iwasaki, the guy that you harm me for, don't even like Asian people. Anyway, I'm going to move forward. Let me stop for a second because I need to get my thoughts together, okay? Okay, so if you recall, I believe it's January 7th, 2020, Judge Lawrence Riff illegally removed me from the courtroom. I had several items on the calendar. I had a motion for attorney fees. I had a motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel for racial bias and misconduct. And with the motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel, nothing should have moved forward within the case. It was before this racist Judge Lawrence Riff. If you guys recall, he removed me from the courtroom and he set a date for March the 6th for the trial, okay, of 2020. Mind you, I have no attorney. I actually my intention was to ask to do a bank search of my husband's assets. See, you guys, I don't know how to go deep, how far to go deep into the marriage. He filed for divorce. He was away from me for a year. I didn't file for anything. This man I was married to for 23 years. Okay? So you guys know it's ups and downs. And he's an alcoholic. And if you know anything about alcoholism, gradually it gets worse and you go into different stages. I know alcoholism because it runs in my family. So I've seen it, how it manifests. And to today, I don't see him. I don't talk to him. I haven't really engaged with him in probably about 4 or 5 years. But he was in his very angry stage of alcoholism. And over the years, as I told you, he was abusive to me. So we would have breakdowns and arguments. And we were both at our wit's end, to be honest with you. So he was gone for a year. And my husband took care of me. Okay, you guys. And he just had hang-ups about money. Not all rich white people like this, I don't know. But when you're rich, white, wealthy, that's your whole self-esteem is tied to that. And he was raised like that. So when things got really difficult, I wouldn't mess with him. Like, I really needed him to help me. I was really struggling. I was living on credit cards. Robbing Paul to pay Peter. But he had marital assets, okay? Is what I'm trying to tell you. He had marital assets, and I really didn't worry about the marital assets because this was my husband. He would take money away, but to be quite honest with you guys, he would do foul shit. When he would do foul stuff, he would eventually behave and he would make up for it. If he did something really mean and nasty, he would do really nasty stuff. You leave him alone. See, you stupid judges, if you would have just left him alone and been respectful to him and just made him follow the law, it wouldn't have been this nasty. If you would have made him do what he was supposed to do, he would have done it. Okay? He's very mindful of how people would perceive him. And as long as if someone's watching, he would behave. Okay? So what I'm trying to get at, I didn't know we had marital assets. I didn't consciously think to protect them or go after them. He was gone for a year because he would always threaten me, you guys. If you come to learn about these our stories, like I told you, I have letters from him apologizing to me from back in 1993 for his abuse. He would break up with me. I've submitted a letter to the court. He would threaten to leave me, but he would always come back. I would just leave him alone. Okay, it's how we stayed married for 20 years. When we would argue or fight, I just fall back like, bro, I'm good. Okay, and he was gone for a year, and he was in a nasty stage. What happened was his father died. See, you guys, you know this is because I keep wanting to make it be about something else. His father died, and his father didn't leave him in a will. His father left $20,000 to some guy. He left the will to his mom. And then he told me that when his mom died, him and his sister gets money. And this may be the reason why this man got so nasty with me at the end. It probably was about the will. And you know, I don't want to say that and think that, but after all, something's wrong with me. After all he's done about money, it had to be about money. Around 2014, you guys, my husband really started changing. He's always been violent. He's always caused problems. Always would be nasty. And if you've been in a relationship with men, or just with people, or, you know, certain types of people, when we would fight, we would argue, he and I, the first probably 15 years of our marriage, I don't even want to talk about that. We were best friends. This was my husband. We've been together since we were children. He was my part of me. Okay? And when you be around someone like you argue, you fight. That's when you're married. You get your little quirks or whatever. He worked a lot. And he had a stressful job. He was an alcoholic. There was a lot of things that made him very volatile. And I, as many women do, I wouldn't know how to navigate him. When he would act crazy, I would be like, I'm good. So what I'm trying to say, he had the money in separate accounts. I didn't have access to our marital assets. I explained that in another video, what happened with the bank accounts. But he was controlling with money, but at the end of the day, he would take care of me. He would live up to his responsibility. He would be nasty. He would throw it in my face. You know, he would do rude stuff. But what I'm really trying to get at for the past 4 minutes of trying to explain to you guys, I didn't worry about him and money because maybe I didn't know he was going to come back. First of all, he always was threatening to leave me. I wasn't sure we were going to really be divorced. Okay, my daughter told me that he just left to make to scare me. Okay, honestly, I don't know. Some guy said, "Oh, he paid $400 when I first started looking for a lawyer. He's not playing." And I was like, $400 is not a lot of money for my husband. And to fuck with me, he do it. I'm gonna pardon my French, but that's how he filed. He's really dark like that. Okay, so him leaving and him having the assets, I don't chase money like that. At the end of the day, we were going to get a divorce. At the end of the day, how I felt like the court system would make it right. The court system could see what money he has. I wasn't chasing him for money or trying to hawk his money. So this is a long rant because I know some of you might be looking at me like, why'd you let this happen to you? I let this happen to me because this was my husband who took care of me. Okay. For the past 10 years of our marriage, the last 10 years, I was a housewife. I hurt my back. I injured my back. I had some medical issues. So I stopped working. My husband made enough money to support us. We got a gift every year from his parents between $25,000 and $50,000. Money wasn't the issue. We had, that was one of my longer rants. It took me 5 minutes to say that to you guys. What I was trying to say, so when I went to court, you guys, my intention was to do a bank search of his assets. And I am harboring on that because his assets were not part of the divorce decree. I was unable to even do that because this racist judge, Lawrence Riff, removed me from the court. He also sanctioned me saying that I couldn't submit any financial documents or anything. So I think what he said, you guys, what Judge Lawrence Riff did was illegal. Okay? That's one of the reasons why I need assistance in attorney fees, because I am trying to pursue this legally. And ultimately, I want to file a civil rights lawsuit for violation of the 14th Amendment. This all happened to me because I'm black. And I say a whole lot of things and I talk about a lot of stuff. I am detailing this and I'm putting myself through sharing my personal life with y'all because I want these three judges, Judge Lawrence Riff, Judge Sarah Heidel, and Judge Iwasaki, to be called on the carpet, investigated for what they did to me. And the main reason why it's so important, I'm tired. I'm suffering. They've done horrific things to me. I'm actually afraid for my life. I'm going to get to that. I'm actually afraid for my life. But more importantly, I love black people. And everything they did to me, if you've been listening to all the stories, I'm going to put a document on Judge Sarah Heidel as a racist where you can read it. It might be a little bit more compelling and understanding because I know I talk about a lot of stuff. The stuff they did to me is savage and it's heinous, and it all amounts to it happened because I'm a black woman. And if they did this to me, if they got little black boys going through the court system, if they got little girls who may be raised in an abusive home being molested or anything, those judges don't care. Okay? So what I need to tell you where I left off at. So what's going on now in January of 2020, they set a trial date for March the 6th. I don't have an attorney. Okay, so ultimately, you guys, I didn't have an attorney. And Judge Sarah Heidel consciously, with malice and forethought, deprive me of having counsel. Okay, I am not going to go back to all the things that occurred, but the main thing was the first time before in January, I said to her, I don't have an attorney. Okay, did I need an attorney? The first time I went before her, I said to her, I don't know what assets he has. I don't know what I can add as part of what's being distributed or part of the marital assets, because I don't have an attorney to consult me. She went ahead and heard trials. She went ahead and required that I go through these hearings without an attorney. That's one of the main things that she did that was illegal and it is wrong. Once I'm done doing this, because I have cases that she sat on, or we can find other cases in family court to show that it's not normal and usual for you to put a wife through a trial without allowing her to have counsel. Okay? So he had me removed from the court when he said he was going to make the court date March 6th. When I tried to tell him that I had something on the calendar for attorney fees, he had me removed. Okay? He illegally sanctioned me. Judge Lawrence Riff illegally sanctioned me. He had me removed from the courtroom. And ultimately, why he got so nasty, they did stuff to me the whole time. But they became more volatile and more violent when I filed a motion to have Judge Sarah Heidel removed. Also, I called her a racist in open court. This was his way of retaliating against me because she is a racist. I told her she was a racist and a bully on December 18th. This was this white man's way of saying, nigga, stay in your place. So if you recall, they moved my case. I have to get an attorney to explain and understand, because they kept passing me around, which also impeded on my ability to represent myself or deal in the divorce, because they kept passing me around. Okay? So Judge Lawrence Riff sent my stuff back to Judge Sarah Heidel in Pomona. Again, she's no longer in Pomona. They moved to the Pasadena, but they moved my stuff back to Pasadena, back to Pomona. Okay, when they moved me our stuff back to Pomona, and I don't know what all transpired, because I was told I was illegally removed from the courtroom. During that time, I had a motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel. I had a motion for attorney fees. He should have heard the motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel in his court at Stanley Mosque. Court was the court date was January 13th, 2020. He refused to hear it. Judge Lawrence River refused to hear my motion. He sent it back to Judge Sarah Heidel. So understand, I'm filing a motion to have her disqualified for racial bias and misconduct. He is her boss. And so, as far as the law goes, in America, the goal is to do things ethically and judiciously and what's in the best interest of all involved. It's supposed to be from fairness, okay? If I'm bringing a accusation that Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist, that she has appeared biased because of racial bias, or has violated or abused her judicial discretion, Judge Lawrence Riff is her boss. For appearances. It's something called canon, and I don't remember. I can't tell you exactly what it means, but it deals with judges being forthright and ethical. If there's an appearance of impropriety in American court system. If there's a question, you need to err on the side of caution. Judge Lawrence Riff should have heard the case. He moved my case back to Judge Sarah Heidel to hear me calling her, saying that she was showing racial bias and misconduct. And so what I'm trying to say to you, he had no legal basis for sending it back to her other than to violate me and harm me. And I need to get into what happened when it went back to Pomona. I'm trying to tell y'all about these attorney fees. So when I would go to court, I would read from something that I created, that I put together, because I was forgetful. I had a problem with train of thought. If you said something to me 2 minutes later, I won't remember. Okay, you guys? If I'm thinking of something, and I'm sure it's evidence in these videos that I say things multiple times, and I apologize. This is why I applied for spousal support, because I had no way of supporting myself. I would read from the declaration. Judge Sarah Heidel, her court reporter, Shawnee Ludwig, I think her name is, followed her to Pomona, to Pasadena. These transcripts were not accurate. These transcripts were laughable. And because of that, I submitted the declaration that I was going to read downstairs to the court. I'm taking the longest time to tell y'all this, and it's really very simple. What happened was, I would read from something. Because the transcripts were always not accurate, I was going to submit what I was going to say in court. So it would be on the record. I read this. I submit to you what I'm reading. So if there is any discrepancy in what the transcripts say and what I'm reading, it's going to demonstrate that the transcripts are not accurate. So before I went upstairs to court for the motion for attorney fees, I submitted the declaration to the court clerk. And by the grace of God, I didn't think about this. She stamped it. She stamped my copy to show that she received it. Okay? Why is this important? Because when I went upstairs to go have the motion for attorney fees, this racist lady took my motion off the calendar. There was nobody in the courtroom. It was one person in the courtroom talking to the judge. The judge, the bailiff's name is Hill. This is a black man who worked for Judge Sarah Heidel. Me and Hill got a love-hate relationship. Hill, you know I love you, black man. Okay? Y'all, I don't get mad at Hill because Hill is a black man in America and Hill trying to keep his job. Okay? He ain't always... Me and Hill have words. Okay? But Hill appears to be like a good guy. Okay? I want to believe that he's a good guy. Okay? He came to me and told me she took my motion off the calendar. And I'm like, what you talking about? Remember, y'all, she, at the vexatious litigant hearing, she called a recess and then she had Hill swap out the paperwork and tell me to leave. Okay? Hill, I told you, brother, to watch me. I'm not playing. Officer Hill, this is not going to end. I am going to file a lawsuit against them. And you are going to be made to testify on everything they did to me, Hill. So I want you to know that. Okay? So Hill tells me that she done took it off the calendar. So again, this is a court date for me to request attorney fees. Judge Lawrence Riff, you know what else I had a motion for? I had a motion for change of venue. I definitely did. I knew it was more than one motion. It was a motion for change of venue. It was a motion for attorney fees. And it was a motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel. The reason why I filed a motion for attorney for change of venue is I wrote the Judicial Board, Judiciary Board. I'm not saying it right. The Board of Judicial. Guys, the name of the department is called the Commission on Judicial Performance. I have all those responses or correspondence with them, and you guys know I'm in a hotel. I'm going to add those correspondence from the Commission on Judicial Review. It's called the Commission on Judicial Review. I'm so sorry, I'm saying it wrong. The Commission on Judicial Performance. Their responses to me. I'm going to put, I have one response on Judge Sarah Heidel's racist website, but I'm going to put the other ones that I have on there as well. I filed the motion for change of venue because they suggested that I do that. Okay, so, and I want to talk to you guys again briefly about why I become alarmed, you guys, because I know it's a lot and you don't know what you don't know, and I'm in my head about a lot of stuff I know that they did illegally. And I'm saying this because I want to put it on the record. Attorneys or law professionals will better understand things. If you go back to the May 3rd court date, if you guys remember, she awarded $5,000. Then she tried to eat up the $5,000. $5,000 wasn't enough. I went back to ask for additional attorney fees to add to the $5,000 because $5,000 was not enough of a retainer fee. I found a good law firm, Core, C-O-R-E. I think the attorney's name is Simon Bawani. He was willing to work with me for the $5,000, but he, of course, was going to file another motion for additional fees. He explained to me that I can get money for pre-trial and trial, okay? So I kept trying to file a motion for additional fees for the trial, okay? She took it off the calendar. So I wanted you guys to keep in mind, again, I still have this motion for attorney, I still have a motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel. If you recall, she tries to evade me subpoena and serving her with the motion to disqualify for change of venue, okay? When they moved my case to Stanley Monk in Los Angeles, I filed a motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel for racial bias and misconduct. Nothing should have been done. Everything I'm discussing legally should not have been occurring. Okay, she took my motion off the calendar for attorney fees. What I did was I went right back home, printed out the documents again, came back to Pomona and filed another motion for attorney fees. See, remember, so you guys know, I told you about the vexatious litigant. I'm about to tell you about the vexatious litigant. What they did, see, they were setting me up from the gate. And when I go back and I look and see, they're setting me up. When you look at everything that I tell you, because it's a lot, when you read it all, just like a book or a novel or a mystery, when you put the things together, you see they were setting me up. And I am full confident that the guy I was married to, his attorney, all three judges were in concert together. When you look at this, this is not a conspiracy theory. And you know what? This is why I am adamant about pursuing this. Everything they did to me was so transparent. They didn't try to hide anything. This Judge Sarah Heidel, still, I don't think this woman has been a judge for 3 years yet. I think maybe 24 months, maybe 2 years. 2019, 2021. Maybe she's been a judge now for 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. And for what all she did to me, and she's a new judge. I told you, I think she might be sleeping with Judge Lawrence Riff. Okay, I don't know if I told you, but I read some comments about him on the Rolling Room and other places that he's a pervert. So attorneys, many attorneys, I've alarmed you. I made you aware of this racist Judge Sarah Heidel. Okay, notice how she treats women differently. She's very different to women. Okay, I observed her being nice to this white man who was married to a Mexican lady. 2 different white men married to a Mexican lady. I told you one couple, the Mexican lady said that the white man was abusing her son. Social services was there. The second one was this white man who was having problems speaking. Like me, he was struggling. He had problems speaking. And she went ahead and lowered this man's spousal support. And I didn't hear the man enter any evidence. He just said, I don't work anymore. He said, I work less. Okay? And she went ahead and lowered his spousal support, and it didn't feel like this man had any evidence. Okay? So I'm gonna just, you guys, let me get excited. I think by this time, if you've been listening this long, you know that I'm telling you the truth, and you realize that they've really brought me harm. I haven't told you, we haven't even got to them harming me. Okay? I've been in a hotel for 6 months because they stole my house and gave all the proceeds to this guy I was married to. This is California. Yes, California is a community property state. And everything they've done to me, I'm homeless because they had sheriff deputies breaking my house during COVID and threatened to arrest me if I leave my home. I'm frightened for my life. I'm going to tell you what happened subsequently since then. So what ends up happening is she took it off the calendar. So I ended up, I think my son took me to court. Because for some reason, when I went to go to the court for the motion for attorney fees, my son was with me. And he was with me when Hill told me they took it off the calendar. So I went back home, printed out the same motion for attorney fees, went back to Pomona and filed the motion for attorney fees. Okay, so I don't understand this, you guys. My trial is supposed to be held in Los Angeles. My home is 30 miles from Los Angeles. Going to Los Angeles is a hardship for me because I have no income. Remember, and you guys, I want to say this to you because I guess you're saying, well, girl, you should get a job, right? I don't know if I told you this, but I injured my back. I haven't had a job in 10 years. When I filed the motion for attorney fees the first time, when she gave me $5,000, in my evidence, I submitted emails for 2 years of me begging for a job, okay? I haven't had a job. I'm a middle-aged woman, okay? I haven't had a job since 2008. Today, when you look for a job, when you go online, if you guys don't know, most companies don't hire from work the HR. Today, or maybe even the industries that I am qualified for, they have headhunters. They source out recruiting. They source out recruiting. So if a recruiter's going to recruit someone, they're going to look at resumes that are the creme de la creme. They're going to look at resumes that are the best match for the job. I haven't had a job in 10 years. And one of the things that I think was a problem, because I was a black woman, because I said this to the vocational evaluation guy, when I would go and look for a job, they would say, well, what you been doing for the past 10 years? I'm married. I was a housewife. See, and I don't like to say this. I don't like putting this in the universe. I don't talk negatively about black people. Things that we endure and things that are very pervasive about our standard of living, how we live. I don't put negative stuff in the universe. I don't say it, okay? But to explain to you, I believe a lot of companies didn't believe. They didn't understand how I didn't have a job for 10 years. How is this black woman not having a job for 10 years? Okay? Because I remember having an interview, and the guy was like, well, where you been for what you been doing for the past 10 years? I'm a salesperson. It was a sales job. And it was this asshole East Coast white dude was like, well, what you been doing for the past 10 years? I said, I've been a housewife. And he looked at me sideways. Okay? That's when it came to my mind. These people think that I've probably done got fired, or they think I have a bad work performance or whatever. So they don't realize I haven't had a job in 10 years because I was a housewife. And they don't expect, Black people, what they think about us. I don't like saying that, but that was one of the issues. And so what I'm trying to say to you guys, that's why I did gig work. I looked for a job. I was looking for a job, not for my household income. I was looking for a job because I was building a business. And I want to share some of my personal stuff with you guys because I want y'all to know how authentic this is about. I'm telling y'all the truth. I had a business. I still have. I'm still going. I still have a business. It's just COVID kind of sidetracked me and all this divorce. My business was about women, mental health, and fashion. Okay, and I have I'm not sure what I should say, how much I should say to you guys. I had a business. My husband really didn't support my business. A part of my business, what I call a collateral of my business, is I had a girls group. And it was the same name as my business. I had 850 girls in my girls group. This is one of the reasons why he started tripping. For my entire marriage, this was my husband. My life surrounded my husband and my family. I went to events with him, with his friends. I was his wife. My daughter finally, when my son was an adult, my daughter finally went away to college. I was my first time in my life having my life to myself. I have an adult son because I had my first child when I was young. This is my first time in my whole life when my kids are gone in my adult life that I can have my life to myself. I had this girls group. We used to go out. We used to have a good time. I'm an older woman, but a lot of the girls in my group were in their 30s, and we were having a time. We were having fun. I would have events at the house. In hindsight, my husband was displaying jealous attitudes, jealous behavior, okay? And part of that, I'm talking about my job, my company. He didn't support me in my business, okay? What I want to say to you is that I was a sales rep. When I had a sales job for a corporation, he would refer his people at work, like, oh, you should go check out my wife. She does this, she does that. When I had a corporate job. When I was building my business, he was being mean to me. He would be nasty. It was hard. Okay, any business takes a while to build, right? I had a lot of challenges because he wouldn't help me. He'll tell you he helped me. He bought me things for like cameras and different stuff like that. He did. See, I don't want to like mislead anybody because this is the truth. When I needed help, if you've been married, you know how married life is. Husbands are a trip, okay? He did buy some things and help me in some ways with the business, but you guys know a business just don't start making income that quick. And I compare, this is what hurt my feelings about him. My husband had a private practice. For the first 5 or 6 years, he made less than probably $3,000 a year. But it was a small private practice. He had a corporate job. I mean, he had a administrative job. He had a full-time job. Back then, his income was probably at least $100,000. But he started a private practice, and I would do the taxes. In the beginning, he didn't make a lot of money. He would make like $3,000, and that was because he was getting referrals from insurance companies. I had to go out here and build my business. I redid my website 3 times. And I'm saying that to you because I taught myself how to do build my website. I couldn't say, well, you give me $3,000 to have someone build my website. It would have made more sense if he would just gave me a couple $1,000, $3,000 to build the website instead of me sitting there for 6 to 8 months teaching myself how. I'm giving y'all some insight as to the problems in marriage, okay? And I'm just telling you from my feelings and how this guy treated me. And this is about me looking for a job. I know I'll be taking a scenic long ADD route, y'all, but I started looking for a job because when I needed things, like I would go to conferences, I would go to different events, women's events, I had to pay for the ticket, I would have to drive there. He was not helping me financially, okay? My husband gave me money. I paid the bills. I would pay the bills, buy the food and stuff. But I would need additional monies for the website or the business. For example, I bought this magnet for my car with my logo on it. Y'all, he cussed me out about this magnet and this logo. Hurt my. I feel bad because it hurt a little bit, but I'm okay about it. But when he first did it, when he first cussed me out, it's gonna make me cry. It hurt me so bad. This man cussed me for filth about a magnet. The magnet, I remember I got 2 of them because where I buy them from, I buy them online, I think Vistaprint. It was like 2 for $25. You know how you've seen people have businesses like, and then you can put the magnet on the truck? This man cussed me out for filth for buying this magnet. And anybody that has pride, and you have pride and ego, hurt my feelings so bad. I got tired of asking him because he was my husband. My husband took care of me. And that part, I really don't want to. Some of you who may not have a husband or have never been married, or you're standing for a man, husband is someone who's working, who's going to contribute. I get that. That was one of the main issues in this marriage, why this man didn't value me. My husband took care of me, okay? We didn't start off that way. Early on, I was ambitious. I worked. When we first moved to California, he didn't work, I worked. I slipped and fell and I hurt my back. He was excelling at work. He made enough money to take care of us. Because I hurt my back and my daughter was into acting, my daughter did different stuff, and my daughter went to a small private school, and I became a housewife. And you guys, if you know who I am, it's so funny that this is what happened to my life. Real talk, when I first got married, I was the one who was going to be a boss. I was going to be a corporate woman, okay? The way things worked, he was really doing well at work. My son, I raised him as a single parent. He was a latchkey kid. I was able to be a housewife and be home for my daughter for school and participate in school stuff. I became a housewife. And my husband supported me. So our bank account since the very beginning was joint. Okay. I said something to you guys. I don't know if I told you before how the money separated and I didn't have my eye on the money. He went to open an account at Washington Mutual. We're in California. About when the bank crisis happened, Washington Mutual came to California. Washington Mutual wasn't in California. Am I saying that right? Maybe Washington Mutual was here. Chase bought Washington Mutual is what it was. Something like that. I worked for Wells Fargo. We originally banked for Wells Fargo. This man penny pinch, and I remember the guy went to Washington Mutual. You live in California, y'all remember years ago. Washington Mutual was now Chase Bank. Washington Mutual was known for no fees. Wells Fargo is an expensive bank to bank with. Because I used to be a team member, we had bank accounts with Wells Fargo. What happened was he went to Washington Mutual and opened an account. I didn't go with him. Okay? He brought the paperwork home for me to sign and had me added to the account. I never did it, you guys. Okay? I never went and was added on to the checking account or something like that. Or when I went there, something happened where I wasn't added to the account properly because we do have accounts with Chase, and we did have accounts with Chase, and there were joint. I think something happened with the savings account did not connect to the checking. Okay, and I'm talking to an open audience. Some people have been married, some people haven't, some people have been single, some people are married and had separate accounts. So it's really, I'm a little concerned about you understanding the nature of our marriage. Since we first got married, we opened a checking account together. Early on, I worked. Our money went in together. We were very prosperous, successful people. Early on, I was a sales rep. I was a successful sales rep 15 years ago. We went on a lot of vacations. I paid for the vacation because I won sales contests. Our money would go together. Matter of fact, because I'm remembering, because we really lived well, I get paid, like you get paid every 2 weeks. It worked out early on, like the first probably 10 years of our marriage. The week that he didn't get paid, I got paid. So we always had money. We ended up buying a nice home. In the beginning, it was a stretch to pay because in the beginning it was a lot. But as we grew in income, things became easier. Okay, we always combined our money. When he went to Washington Mutual, I didn't, and I probably told you this story before. I didn't get added to the account. He also had an account he had a private practice. So I'm telling you guys this because I want to explain to you how I lost control of the assets. I lost control of the assets because I never put my name on the account. And also, to be honest with you, my husband was really good at savings. Okay, I'm a spender. I spend, I'm a girl, so I would buy stuff for the house. I would make when I was a housewife, I'd cook dinner. I was home alone. Okay, everybody had their life. I was a housewife. I was trying to build my business, and I'm like Martha Stewart, you guys. People who know me, who see this video, who see my Instagram, I'm an entertainer. So I would go and I would make elaborate meals and do different stuff like that for him. When he came home, this was my husband. And so sometimes I would spend more than I should. So him opening up these accounts, and consciously, I didn't make a big effort to put my name on it, because what would end up happening if I didn't have access to it, that means it was less money I would spend. And me having less money to spend, see, I pay for most of the stuff in the household. Okay? If this money is going to savings account, we have separate savings that I can't say, oh, I need to buy something for this or whatever. Let me go ahead and draw out $20, $30 extra dollars. Him having the money separately, honestly, you guys, I didn't make a big effort. I was going to do it in the beginning. You know how I was. What do you mean I'm going to put my name on that account? But as time went on and I procrastinated about doing it, it worked out. He was able to save money. Okay, and I feel like he was able to save money out of sight, out of mind. He would transfer money into the checking account, and I would use it. So it worked out. And so, I'm thinking to myself of different stuff that transpired in our marriage and our life. So, for example, my daughter went away to college. We went to New York to take her to college because he had this separate money that I'm not taking $20 here for dinner, $20 there for this. It's to benefit us. He was really good at saving. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to let him do this. Watch, we're gonna have money to go on vacation. We vacationed a lot. We would do stuff. And I knew he was saving the money. Long story short, I said all this shit to y'all. Where am I? Yo, that was a lot. Let me sit here and tell y'all what all that happened after this. So, this is important, and I need to get my mind straight and stop telling you all these freaking crazy stories. I just want y'all to get adjusted with my marriage and understand my marriage ended, and it failed like any other marriage. And this Los Angeles family court system should have treated me like any other divorced couple. So when I went to the court date for the attorney fees, she took it off the calendar. Okay, if y'all recall, I didn't know anything they had done because the judge had me removed from the courtroom for no apparent reason. Okay, so when she took it off the calendar, I went back and filed another motion for attorney fees. Exact same documents that she took off the calendar. Then I went to LA. The next day I went to LA for the trial. They don't have my documents. Okay, so what set this off? You guys, I'm going to tell you what I know. I'm not 100% sure of all that happened. When this shit hits the fan, they're going to lie. And they're going to make a narrative. And I know they are, okay? I did not understand what was happening because I didn't have an attorney. They would have, as I tell you more after this, if this is I'm telling you about now, as time went forward, as of now, today, in the past 6 months, they keep having hearings without me being present. They had hearings without me even knowing that they were court dates, Okay? So in January of 2020, after he scheduled March 6th for the trial, okay, no attorney. We don't know what his assets are. Why he said he sanctioned me is he said that I didn't mail the declaration of disclosure to my husband's attorney. My husband's attorney, who he is having an affair with. I mailed her the declaration of disclosure. She lied in court. That's when he sanctioned me. Okay? So the day after the court date for the attorney fees, I went to LA to file another motion because I did a change of venue. Because I didn't know what to do. The Judicial Commission on Judicial Review told me to do a change of venue. I filed a change of venue for Judge Sarah Heidel. And I can't remember everything I cited, but one of the main reasons why I cited was I believed it was bias. It was multiple things that I filed a motion for change of venue for Judge Sarah Heidel. And I also included change of venue for Stanley Mosk, wanting to have Judge Lawrence Riff taken off the case for change of venue as well from Stanley Monk because they're in cahoots. So I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how to do this. I filed the motion in Pomona the day after she took my day off the hearing off the calendar for attorney fees. Remember, I went back. All I did was go back home, print out the documents, and submit it again. Then the next day, I went to LA. I went to LA again to file a motion for change of venue because of Judge Lawrence Riff, because he illegally sanctioned me. You guys, when this comes out, hopefully when I get an attorney, I can come back and give you guys a synopsis or update on what he did wrong, because you guys, he violated my civil rights. Everything they did, what I know they did, they're illegal, I can tell you. God knows what they did to me that I don't know that they did was illegal, okay? He asked in January, did I mail this declaration of disclosure to her? I did. His attorney lied and said, no, I didn't. In the transcripts, you hear me say, here, I have them here, okay? He removed me from the courtroom. I had the declaration of disclosure on the court date. Every time he would talk to the opposing, and I've said this to you guys before, he would talk to the opposing, they would give all this testimony, he wouldn't ask me shit. He wouldn't let me respond. Like one time she did a whole diatribe about me wanting the house. He never asked me about, they never asked me what I wanted at all. The transcripts are on Judge Sarah Heidel's races. Now, one time do you hear any judge say to me, man, what do you want in this divorce? What are your issues? What do you want? They never asked me anything because I'm a black woman and it doesn't matter. Okay? So the next day, I went down to Stanley Mosque, and my intentions was to submit the Declaration of Disclosure. The Declaration of Disclosure tells you what assets you have, what liabilities. This is why it's so hurtful. You guys, y'all gotta support me on this and help me come for these judges. Because this is not about a marriage. This is about discrimination. This is about 3 corrupt judges. In California, it's simple. It's nothing. It's not complicated. You look at the assets and you split them. That's it. Okay? The Declaration of Disclosure shows what I think it was supposed to do was say, when you first filed for divorce, when I first answered, I said what my debt was, what was my income. Okay? When they had me removed from the court, subsequently, I got a notice saying that I needed to submit something by the 14th of January. And I hope I'm saying this properly, okay? I got it late. I probably got it from his attorney because she would always send shit late. She was doing all kinds of stuff. You guys, I'm going to get this out about these judges. And then I'm going to try to find an attorney because I think I'm going to find an attorney to sue his attorney. Because she is the culprit in all of this stuff. What I'm saying to you is, I wasn't in the courtroom because they had me removed. So I didn't know anything about the trial. I don't have an attorney. I don't know how to even prepare for the trial. Okay? The next day after the court hearing for the attorney fees that she took off, I went down to Stanley Mosque, and what my intentions was to submit the declaration of disclosure because, okay, what I'm saying to you is I got something in the mail about the court trial. And what I'm trying to think, you guys, is where it came from. It probably came from his attorney. I think how it works is the attorney sends it. In the declaration, in the information she sent me about trial, it said that I need to submit my financial stuff by the 14th. I remember it being the 14th because I got it on the 14th. I called his Judge Lawrence Riff and spoke to his clerk Cody. She's sitting here. I'm telling y'all, bro. How girls say all skin folks, skin folks ain't kin folks. I'm telling her, Cody, my husband's sleeping with this attorney. What this woman said to me was, what does that matter? Cody, you're the clerk. What do you think it matters? She's lying about everything. If she's sleeping with my husband, she's compromised. The only things that they had, the only problem they had with me, the only issue they could point at was when I was supposed to send things to her and she would lie and say I didn't send them to her. Okay? Remember the declaration of disclosure, in the transcripts, he asked her. She lied and said I didn't send them to her. And this is the whole thing. There's no reason for me to not give them to her. The declaration of disclosure shows my debt and my income. I have no income and I've got lots of marital debt. Why would I not give it to her? So I go to Stanley Monk to file a motion for change of venue. Again, I was doing it twice because I did it in Pomona and I was doing it in Los Angeles because I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. I know that I need to change a venue because it's clear that these people are working together. Each time I try to file a motion to have Judge Sarah Heidel disqualified, the court clerk and the deputies, different people in the Pomona court system, worked in concert to prevent me from executing my civil rights. So I'm telling you, what I'm giving you is my reasoning for filing a motion for change of venue. So I went to Stanley Monk the next day. I think it was like January the 19th, January the 18th. Okay? It was the 7th, I think, when he had me put out of the courtroom, when he scheduled the March 6th trial date, right? Sorry, I accidentally paused it. So, I went to Stanley Monk the day after I refiled my motion for attorney fees in Pomona. The same day she took it off the calendar, I went back and submitted it. Then the next day, I went to Stanley Monk, and my intentions were to submit the declaration of disclosure. Okay? And I also wanted to file a motion for change of venue because of Judge Lawrence Riff illegally sanctioning me. And you guys, I have to get an attorney. This is why I had this GoFundMe. I need to understand what he did. What he did, I know, was illegal. Okay, he sanctioned me for something. And you guys, if you have any comments or questions, please ask them. I didn't do anything. Only thing I did was I filed a motion for attorney fees and a motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel. The motion for attorney fees so I can be represented the same way my husband was. According to California Family Code, I think it's called 2030. What I'm asking for is I have legal right. This is what the court gives any other wife. If it's a white couple in the same years of marriage and the same income, the wife would be eligible for spousal support. How I knew, not for spousal support, for attorney fees. How I knew about the attorney fees, the self-help lady told me. You guys, when he filed for a divorce, when he was gone for a year, I was in a daze the whole time. Okay? I was and I'm talking to people, young people, old people. If you've been in a marriage, if you've been divorced, you know when the beginning of the divorce is kind of hard. And this is what's terrible. I haven't really been able to grieve after court started because I've been in the offensive for the court system. When he left, of course, in the beginning, I missed him. He had been cheating on me. He had done all kind of stuff. Him being gone, honestly, you guys, I was glad he was gone. I wasn't anxious to get back with him. It was a break, okay? I went to the self-help. I told you guys this early on. My main reason was for spousal support. This man was supposed to pay me $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Had this judge just ordered spousal support like any other couple, it would have gave me enough money to afford an attorney. It would have gave me enough money to pay my bills and transition into a single house. This is what early on spousal support while you're separated is a little extra. And at the trial, you usually get less, and they try to bring you into being on your own. I don't know, because this is what I've got to find out. Okay, so you guys, I'm telling you guys as I go because this stuff is in my head. What's in my head is that I got paperwork saying I should submit my financial stuff. This man has sanctioned me. I really don't understand the nature of him sanctioning me, because I think how he sanctioned me was illegal and it's not an actual, what he did, I don't think he was able to really do. Okay? Because I got paperwork saying to submit my documents. Okay? I take the longest time to tell you guys this. I went to Stanley Monk the next day to file the Declaration of Disclosure and also file a motion to change of venue. I'm filing with this lady. Her name is Kim. This is the court clerk. She reads the court docket. Judge Sarah Heidel deemed me as a vexatious litigant. I'm going to link it below. I don't think she did it legally. Remember, we have a motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel on the calendar. I haven't got to that part yet. I'm going to tell you about that. Remember, he moved me out. He had me leave the courtroom, so I don't know what he did. I don't know. So when he moved me out of the courtroom, I didn't know what he did with all the current court hearings, all the business that was still open, all the issues that we were dealing with, attorney fees, motion to disqualify, change of venue. I don't know what he did with those things. I'm trying to see the change of venue. I'm trying to remember. You know what? The change of venue, I filed it when I filed the attorney fees. I filed change of venue and attorney fees in Pomona. Then, because I didn't know how to do it, because my hearing was being heard in two different court houses, the next day I went to Stanley Monk and I attempted to file a motion for change of venue and also submit my declaration of disclosure. This is what happened. The clerk read it, said, and I'm going to put this what I'm trying to think is I've got a copy of the document I'm talking about. I'm going to refer you guys to Judge Sarah Heidel's erasers. I'm thinking, should I just put it in here? This is what she did. The Declaration of Disclosure has my income on it. The clerk took it. She read. The judge put notes in the system for me not to submit anything. She took the Declaration of Disclosure. She stamped it. After she read the notes that the judge put in the system, she crossed out and she wouldn't accept this. So this is what I'm saying to you guys. At the trial, how the judge knows what we're asking for what the assets are, what my debt is, what my income is from this declaration of disclosure. Okay? When I try to submit it, the clerk gave it back to me. I have a copy because she stamped it. She stamped it before she read the system. Then she gave it back to me. I called the supervisor. And you know what? I told you guys this in another video. The supervisor came. They had the deputies or security come. They would not let me file my motion for change of venue, and they would not accept my documents for the court trial. Okay? And this woman deemed me a vexatious litigant. This is how they screwed me over. You guys, I'm not an attorney, but a vexatious litigant is somebody who just files stuff pro per without an attorney just to be a nuisance, just to cause the other party a problem. I don't know the legal ins and outs of this, but I know what they did, and everything they did is illegal, and it's quite just as questionable, because if someone files something against you, you have what's called due process. December 18th was when I had the vexatious litigant trial hearing. Remember, I told her I had a motion to disqualify her. She set a recess, and she never brought us back. I never got a chance to answer the vexatious litigant. I never got a chance to respond. Due process means you have your day in court. What happened was she took my stuff off the calendar for the attorney fees. She got pissed because I came back and I filed it again. Okay? What she probably had planned on doing, she planned on hearing the vexatious litigant, but she couldn't because I still had the motion to disqualify her on the calendar. She saw that I filed it again and a change of venue. She deemed me a vexatious litigant, I want to say about January 19th. You guys, I don't think she was supposed to do this. I never had a chance to respond. She did it when there still was a motion to disqualify her on the calendar. Oh, I haven't got to that part yet. So again, I go to the courthouse to submit my documents for the trial that shouldn't be set because I'm not prepared. I don't have an attorney. I don't know what his assets are. Okay? So when I go and try to submit the documents and the security comes, I have this lady's name written down on my paperwork. I told you guys this in another video. The supervisor, I think her name was Marianne or something like that. She said the judge deemed me vexatious. I couldn't submit anything. I'm telling you guys this because in a divorce, they screwed me. They made me pay all his debt. This is why I'm homeless. I'm homeless because I didn't get any proceeds. They sold my house and didn't give me anything. What they did was, they didn't include my debt. Part of the sale of the house, he should have owed me for my part half. We're supposed to do is split the debt in half. What they did was they gave me his debt, and they didn't include mine. On Judge Sarah Heidel, I'm going to upload a copy of the Declaration of Disclosure. What I'm saying to you is the paperwork that I'm supposed to submit to the court wouldn't accept it. Okay? And I want to tell you about me calling his clerk, but I don't want to confuse things. Okay? When I called and spoke to his clerk, I mentioned that before, but I think it becomes really very convoluted, and you guys, I know you guys have a hard time understanding. If you're following along and you're having a hard time understanding, ask me a question. Ultimately, I have a written account of everything that happens. that's going to make more sense. Tonight, I'm going to upload on Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist. Okay? And I'll actually link, because I don't know what I'm going to categorize it. I'll link it below. Because what I know and what I'm really alarmed about, you guys, because I watch the videos and I'm conscious of myself. I know I talk a lot and I say a lot, okay? I know I get very confusing because I'm going from my memory. It's hard for me to think about it because it hurts. It's painful. And I can't stress enough why I need support in this. These 3 judges shouldn't be judges, okay? I didn't do anything. I am homeless. I'm going to get to, I'm homeless. I can't get a home because the lady never ordered spousal support. The month that she declined me spousal support, I got an email from Discover saying my credit score dropped 130 points. I don't qualify for an apartment because I don't have an income, and my credit score has been demolished because when she did spousal support, she didn't consider my debt. She harmed me. Okay, so I'm trying to think, should I wrap this up or should I start again later? Because I know this video is long. So let me tell you where we ended at. So I told you she deemed me vexatious. Oh, I gotta tell you about the motion to disqualify. So remember, in January I have all these issues on the calendar. Judge Riff sends everything back to her court. What ends up happening is I got a notice in the mail that she set the court date for the motion to disqualify on March the 3rd. She did that purposely because the trial was March the 6th. I got a notice for that. I'm in a hotel. I do have some ways to upload stuff on the internet on the Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist. If you don't see it now or soon, eventually I'm going to put the documents on there. What document I'm referring to, she sent me something in the mail saying that the motion to disqualify was March the 3rd, right? I got it probably sometime in February. When I went on there to confirm the court date, it wasn't on the court. She took it off the calendar. The motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel, she took it off the calendar. Remember, Judge Riff wouldn't hear it. It was originally set for January 13th. He sent it back to her. I did get something in the mail saying it was March the 3rd. When I went online to look at it, so I got something in the mail saying the court date for the motion to disqualify Judge Sarah Heidel would be March the 3rd. I never saw it online. Okay? Her filing, deeming me a vexatious litigant, I don't think she had the legal right to do that when I still had a motion to disqualify her. I'm hoping I'm telling you guys everything right. So this long hour and a half damn video was Judge Sarah Heidel took my motion for attorney fees off the calendar. The court clerk, her name is Kim, refused my documents for the trial. Judge Sarah Heidel evaded my motion to disqualify her multiple times. I'm going to wrap this up because what it becomes, you guys, I didn't mean for this to be this long, but I got to tell you what happened with the trial. I'm trying to think, is there anything in between this that I need to say to you? She did deem me a vexatious litigant about January the 19th, but I had filed the motion for attorney fees for a second time. I had filed a motion for change of venue. So these issues were on the calendar, I want to say for April and May. You know COVID happened, so we know it changed. So the May 6th trial, I shouldn't have had a May 6th trial because I had a motion for change of venue and I had a motion for attorney fees. I'm hoping I'm saying everything right to you guys. Now I'm hoping you get it. Thank you for listening to me. I have to tell you guys about this trial. And that's the hardest thing. That'll be the next video. That'll be a married white guy. 3 racist judges are trying to annihilate me. Part 13. Thank you for listening.
Tell your friends to pull up.